never had the ass come out of the pants. Sometimes I played like ass. All right, how's everybody doing?
Eli, over here. We're going to start with the elephant in the room. Quarterzips are taking over the internet. You're not wearing one tonight, but we do know that this is very much a trend that you have set.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to be a fashion trendsetter for the youth? And secondly, are your kids impressed?
Yes, I'm a trendsetter. I can't help it. I'm not trying to be a trendsetter. It just happened. But I think the important thing is once you set the trend, you can't just be wearing it. You're always trying to set new trends and new things. So I know the popularity of the quarter zip. I feel like everybody's expecting me to wear a quarter zip. I'm hearing, the buzz around town. I wonder what, color quarter zip Eli's going to wear today. That's why I had to throw everybody off. Went with the V-neck, kind of the little one. So thought about it, but try to throw, kind of keep everybody on their toes a little bit. And are the kids impressed? No, my 14-year-old is not impressed with anything that I do. So, 14-year-old daughter, zero impressed.
Eli, we learned tonight that you are the only SNL host that Colin Jost has ever asked for an autograph.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked anyone for an autograph?
That's a great question. No, I've never asked anybody for an autograph, I don't think. I mean, rarely do I have like a picture of someone that I'm walking around with. I have asked for a few pictures of people. I've asked for 2 pictures. One was of Kevin Federline, and the other was of Pauly D and The Situation were together at an event. I mean, when are you going to see them together? So I couldn't let both those opportunities pass me by without getting pictures and sending it to all my buddies. So those are pretty good ones.
Tonight you talked about Colin Jost's memoir, A Very Punchable Face. You said Peyton's book is called The Most Punchable Face.
Yeah.
What would your memoir be called?
I want to punch my brother in the face, probably be the title of it. I think that makes a lot of sense. It would be pretty special. I think, a lot of stories about me just getting wedgies, getting noogies, getting, beat up and picked on and teased, and him, just, playing video games. He wouldn't let me win in a video game. I talked about tonight. He had to look at my controller and cheat to beat me in Tecmo Bowl. I mean, good thing I played with Bo Jackson. He was unstoppable. That was the only reason I could score any points. He had a couple of plays that they couldn't stop him.
Eli, Luke Combs was on the show tonight. He's doing a show this spring at Tennessee Stadium, but he isn't doing one at Ole Miss. What do you think about that?
Well, it probably makes a lot of sense. Obviously Ole Miss, it's got a big game this week versus Mississippi State, and win that. We're going to be in the college football playoffs. Tennessee is not. We might be hosting a home game in the first round of the college football playoffs, so we got to plan on that. We don't have time to plan on concerts and things. We're planning football games. That is the purpose of a stadium, is to play football games in it. Ole Miss is planning to play more football games at home. Tennessee is not having that plan, so they can go on and plan, country music concerts. So that's probably the reason.
Eli, Peyton's Emily in Paris bit on Weekend Update came up tonight. What's one show that people might be surprised that you're a super fan of?
Probably, it's not that I watched it, but what is it? iCarly? iCarly, I think. Yeah, iCarly. I probably watched more iCarly shows than I'd like to admit to anybody, but that's when you have 3 daughters, it's on the TV a lot. So you pop down, you watch a little bit. Hey, I get caught up in the kind of the plot. I'm asking a few questions about trying to get caught up. I haven't seen every episode in order, so that was probably one. For my time, like I just finished Task, pretty good. Really good actually. So that one's, Tom Pelphrey is the main actor in there. Strong beard in the show. He's actually a New Jersey guy, big Giants fan. Actually, he might be a good guest next week for Giants Patriots. He's a huge fan of the Giants. So I might think about that. How about that? Just talking about tasks, we're coming up with guests right here on the spot.
Eli, Peyton made fun of you tonight for riding the New York City subway for the first time last December at age 43. Would you like to respond to him by questioning your New York credentials?
Yeah, I know Peyton actually. Peyton was in New York a few years ago. My last season with the Giants. My last season playing football, and we're playing a game versus the Eagles. I think a Sunday night game, maybe it was a Monday night game, and Peyton was in New York, and he's like, hey, what's the best way to get to Philadelphia? I want to come to the game. He actually took the train from New York to Philadelphia. John Mara, our owner, was actually on the same train, and my mom and a few other people were helping him. But of course, Peyton, being the guy's got to be in control, got to overplan, he showed up like 45 minutes early to catch the train. Like, you don't have to show up 45 minutes early to catch the train, Peyton. It's not an airplane. It's just like you show up 3 minutes before you hop on and go. So he had to sit there and do that. So I think I've taken trains in and out of the city, but getting in through and around the city, I just never know it that well. But I did take it. I was with a buddy. Bad traffic. We were going kind of the same spot, and I'm a man of the people, so I went down there and got on the subway.
Eli, Jake Delhomme described a play from his career in which his pants ripped and his, quote, ass was hanging out. What was one of the most embarrassing plays in your career?
Yeah, never had the ass come out of the pants. Sometimes I played like ass. That's embarrassing, I guess. But probably the most embarrassing plays were anytime I had to make a tackle. It just never went really well. The effort was there, always effort. That was one of my pet peeves, seeing a bad effort after an interception. So, so I was trying to get in there, trying to make plays. I'm just not very good at tackling. That's probably why I play offense instead of defense, was the lack of tackling ability.
Eli, big New York City weekend. Gotham FC won the NWSL championship. How big was that match in this house this weekend?
Oh, it was big. The fam, everybody was fired up to watch it. We were screaming. Rose Lavelle gets the game winner, scores late in the game to take the lead 1-0. So it's just been an unbelievable playoff run, getting a win, being the 8th seed out of 8 teams. We're the last team to make it into the playoffs, go against the number 1 team, Kansas City, in the first round, beat them with a huge upset. Then go play Orlando, the defending champs from last year, who knocked us out. So we go beat them, beat Washington in the championship. So what a great run. So proud of the team. And that's another. We should get a Gotham FC player to be on the ManningCast next week. I'm coming up with all sorts of ideas right here. I should just do more press conferences. I can come up with some awesome guests. So we'll have to maybe attack that. But so proud of that team and excited for everyone. They worked really hard. It wasn't the greatest season, ups and downs, but they came together at the end when they needed it, got the win.
Eli, let's talk Thanksgiving. What's your favorite side and your least favorite side?
I like to, kind of growing up in the South and New Orleans and Mississippi, kind of the roots of it. So it's all about the kind of the vegetables that are supposed to be healthy, but they're cooked with like so much butter and they're cooked unhealthily. So I like the cream corn and the butter beans and the black eyed peas and the green beans and the cornbread. I mean, that's what it's about. We have the turkey. The turkey's kind of like the side dish. Those are the main dishes, a side of a little turkey, but that's what it's about. So those are all my favorites. I'm not big into the cranberry stuff. I'm not a cranberry guy, so I can don't get that near the plate. That's gonna ruin my meal.
Quick question for you. At the end of the game, you and Peyton were talking about jersey swaps. Do you have a moment in your career, a jersey swap, that was particularly special, funny, important?
Yeah, I think, kind of when I was retiring, the jersey swap was starting to happen, but I wasn't going to ever take off my jersey on the field. First off, I didn't want to be shirtless, on the stadium running off. That wouldn't, no one wants to see that. And secondly, just whether you won, you might do it if you lost. I'm definitely not like changing jersey, sign it for somebody. Some people would ask, and I would just, I definitely did it probably, but did it after the game. Like went in the locker room, would sign it to the person, hand it to an equipment manager, hey, can you run this down over, and did some jersey swaps. So, but maybe only did it 2 or 3 times, but definitely was very, very against changing jerseys right there on the field. You just competed, you just worked all week, worked so hard to go out there and play. And if you don't win a game, just standing there laughing, exciting, asking for autographs of the teams that just beat you, just doesn't seem quite right.
We noticed that the painting of you and Peyton is still hanging behind you on the broadcast. Have any museums or collectors, anyone like that, made an offer for the piece yet?
Oh, I mean, an unbelievable amount of requests are coming in. George W. Bush was reaching out. He wants it for his collection. Says one of the greatest paintings he's ever seen. We've had museums, the Louvre, have all reached out and asking for it. So I don't know what to do with it. It's obviously going to stay right behind me for the rest of the year. I worked, all last week, painting that and getting ready. So end of the year, probably won't be there next year. I'd like to probably maybe do some new paintings and some new looks of Peyton as he's aging. I want to, make sure I show that age in the new paintings. So I'll probably put it up in a museum so many people get to see it and enjoy it and look at that masterpiece.
Also, we noticed you had some cleats with you tonight, Eli. My Cause, My Cleats this week in the NFL. Tell us about yours and why they're important to you.
So Tackle Kids Cancer is the charity. Been doing it. It's my 10th year anniversary of Tackle Kids Cancer. And so, these were great. My good pal Mila, she designed these. She's a 7-year-old girl. And so she kind of drew them out on a sheet of paper. We sent them in, and then they made these. So you can see the Stay Strong. That's her message. And so we got to kind of unbox these last week, went to the hospital. She came. She was so excited to be there and show off her great work. So thank you, Mila. And, you're doing great things. So we're going to auction these off, raise a lot of money, and continue to help more kids that are dealing with pediatric cancer. All right. Well, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and we'll see you next week.